De'Aaron Fox and the Spurs have agreed to a max extension. Was it worth it?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. What are we going to be talking about today? We're still going to be talking, reacting to the Spurs. De'Aaron Fox coming to agreement, having a max deal. He is wrapped up for the foreseeable future for the Spurs. We're going to get to the numbers. How does that break down? Our initial reactions, and then ask the big question at the end. Was it even worth it? Yeah, there's so many implications. There's so many ripple effects that this max deal the Spurs gave Fox is going to have with the Spurs in the medium term, maybe not the short term, but definitely the foreseeable future. It's going to come up like that. So we're going to be talking about that and more right here on Locked On Spurs. And yeah, I need you to subscribe. Keep those subscription numbers going up higher on YouTube. You guys are the everydayers. We appreciate it. It's going to bring in our guest. Look who's back to join us here on Locked On Spurs, Mr. Casey Viera. It only made sense because we escaped by the skin of our teeth recording the show over the weekend. And then I was freaking out. I was like, oh my goodness, what if I release it? And I did early in the morning yesterday, and like 10 minutes later, it happens. But unfortunately, we got a good half a day, Casey, of our thoughts. But it's all but over. It looks like Spurs and Fox, they're good to go, at least for the foreseeable future. Let me start off with your reaction. Your quick reaction when you heard the news.
I was a little bit surprised, not by the money, because I figured it was going to be max money. That didn't surprise me. I'm not as much surprised about the timing because I did think they were going to get the extension done before the start of the year. I was a little bit surprised that they went to the fourth year for both sides. I think that on the Fox side of things, it really would have been enticing theoretically to go 2 years, a player option for a third, and then you hit that opt-out. You have a chance to get an even bigger deal as you near the back end of your career. And then on the Spurs side of things, this is something we talked about yesterday, was they have the Castle and Harper dynamic to figure out as well. And did they want that to go a little bit more hand in hand with Fox's contract? So I thought that they were kind of leaning that direction.
Right.
Really, I was mistaken in that thought process. So if anything, I was a little bit surprised about that. But largely for the most part, numbers not a surprise. The fact that they got it done is not a surprise to me neither.
Yeah, my initial reaction was actually kind of a three-part reaction. My first one was, okay, no big deal, not a surprise. I felt this was coming. I'm with you. I really felt that it would be a near max. I don't think it'll be at the max. I really thought the Spurs were going to explore keeping some financial flexibility at the end of that extension. More on that later to help them with other players. But when they locked him up and the news came out that, the Spurs officially announced it too, that they locked him up for 4 years at max money. I was like, okay. The second thing that I reacted to was this. This is a sign to me that the Spurs want to win. This is a sign not just to the players, to Wemby, but to other NBA free agents down the road that you come to San Antonio, we'll take care of you. Commitments, promises are being kept. They kept the promise of Chris Paul. You'll be a starter for the rest of the season. They did that. They probably had a under-the-table promise to Fox in the Sacramento Spurs trade last season. He'll get a max contract. Nailed it. Done. Moving forward. And the third one, and I get your reaction on this one, is I saw the max number, right, as about 2022, about 229. And my first thought was, that's Luka money. That's Luka Doncic kind of money. I get why you give Luka this kind of deal, but why do you give this to Fox? That was the only kind of like, wow, they really gave him that Luka Doncic, Tyrese Halliburton money. And we'll get into that later. But those were kind of my reaction to that. Any other reactions you had?
I think that it speaks to their commitment to making the 3-guard lineup work. I think that's what it is. I think by them giving him that fourth year, they're willing to really go after it and see what they have there with those 3 guys, and understandably so. I mean, understandably so. They have the luxury of that ability now. They have the luxury of, at its core, at its baseline, just having 3 really good basketball players at those positions who have a chance to make this team special. But yeah, I think the overriding sentiment for me too, and we really got a better idea of this a few months back after the draft, was that is it. This is the team that they're rolling with now. This is what the man on your screen right there. That's.
Oh, let's put him back. Let's put him back. Yeah, might as well. He's the man of the hour.
Bring him back. Yeah, not you, him. There he is. But that between him and between Castle and Vassell and Keldon Johnson, and you saw it a little bit more at the trade deadline, pre-Wemby injury. What are we going to call it? Blood clot. Sure. Was that it felt like everybody, as a result of the trade, is kind of falling into their place of their designed roles for what we anticipated them being. And now we're seeing that again, plus the Harper dynamic of it, and you have the money to validate that, to lock it up, go forward. So this is just kind of a continuation of what we saw all the way back in February, that this is the team that they're going to be rolling with. Expect it the rest of the way. And finally, there's that level of uniformity, I guess, that hasn't been here. There's always going to be the hypothetical game, but the hypothetical game, so to speak, is not as rich as it once was, posing superstars, things like that. There's no Giannis talk, there's no Kevin Durant talk. This is it. This is the product, and this is what they're rolling with going forward, and they feel good about it.
Yeah, exactly. And it also signals to the team, the franchise, to other NBA teams, and of course, possible trade and free agents, that you come to San Antonio, your cornerstones is not going to just be Wemby. It's now Fox. So you can promote that to other players, saying like, hey, you come to San Antonio, you got yourself an all-star guard, and you got yourself an all-world center, and let's rock and roll. How can you help this team moving forward? This is what the NBA is now. And the Spurs are going to have to, keep that going, that 2-star front, because the NBA, to be a good team, you got to have at minimum 2 stars. OKC showed that last year. You need at minimum 2 stars, with Williams and Shea. So, and I think the Spurs have sent out the signal to the rest of the league, to the players. You come to San Antonio, we're about winning. And, kudos to the Spurs and Brad Wright and the management getting it done too, because historically the Spurs have always been like penny pitchers. Oh, they don't pay max deals. They don't do this. No, this is like a different time, different era. Unfortunately, there's no Tim Duncan to give them a hometown discount. That was not going to happen. But it's also too good. It's a good look, the Spurs dealing with Clutch Sports, that agency that seems to control the NBA and players. So there's some good vibes there. Overall, it was a good thing they did. But that max money, we'll get into that in a bit. It's a little concerning, but again, we'll talk about that in a while. One more thing before we hit the break here, Casey, I get your thoughts on this, is that there is some people on social media, I'm not going to name names, that are saying the Spurs did wrong. He was Fox. He's not a max player. Right. And you can see some legitimacy to that. I don't know. You know what? Let's hold that. Let's hold that thought.
Hit the pause button.
Because let's hit the pause button. All right. So when we get back, we're going to discuss that and more, get into the numbers. What does the 4-year deal look like? And more, it's right here on Locked On Spurs. Again, with Casey Viera. Make sure you follow him on X at Casey_Viera. Hey, but first I want to talk about 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Time to fuel up. Turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink minus the alcohol into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're seeking birdies or just making memories with friends, this is a hole-in-one for your energy game. But be honest, you suddenly got bad times on the golf course. Maybe you're off a little bit. Maybe you just need an extra boost to stay sharp and energized. That's where 5-Hour Energy Transfusion comes in. Think about it too. You've ever been on that green there and just hit a wild shot. Where did that come from? Maybe I'm not concentrating right. Maybe I need a quick energy boost. 5-hour energy transfusion can get that to you right there. And maybe you might hit that hole in one. Who knows? Hey, look, golf is all about good times and good people. The good flavors, of course, the grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the Bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use promo code LOCKEDONGolf. That'll get you 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with another promotion. The code is not good on subscription orders. So whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes up to 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-hour energy shots today. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Casey Viera. He is on X at Casey_Viera, and we're talking about the Fox Spurs contract extension, max deal, I should say, and so much more. Well, you know, Casey, we haven't hit the numbers yet. How does this 4-year deal work out? Well, I guess minus next season, because next season he's still under the old contract. So, taking away that, what does it look like?
So we're looking starting at 26, 27, 51, 28. 27, 28, 55.1,
Yep.
28, 29, 59.2, 29, 30, 63.3. Again, all adding up to a cool $228.6 million.
Can you imagine,
Quick.
can you imagine that hitting your
They're rounding up to 229, so technically it's 228.6. Not that it matters, but yeah.
Imagine one day waking up and seeing your bank account alert saying, "Hey, you got a deposit." Exactly. I just
Good for him.
Listen. Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him. And just to be clear, everybody, next season, that's not the beginning of the extension. It's
Next season is only
it's only
37, I believe. 37?
Yeah.
I have the numbers. Where'd it go?
36.1. You got it. Yeah.
37.
So
Only.
Oh, to be a pro athlete. But nevertheless, my first reaction to that is, back-ended. Usually the Spurs operate in doing front-loading and then have a descending. The Spurs have it the opposite way if it's back-loaded. So it's going to start small and get larger and larger. Good move or bad move?
I think that's a good move because I think that was what was going to be the case either way. I think I know they like to get cute and front load a lot of those contracts. But the thing is they haven't had to pay that big time number that they've had right now, and seeing that this max deal get paid out the way they did, it is a little bit more traditional to have it be backloaded like that. So that part doesn't particularly surprise me or anything like that. No, the numbers that you hit a lot of hypotheticals with the back end of that deal, and not saying that he's not worth the max money, because I think he's worth market value. I think you want to pay for an all-star caliber point guard. This is what you get. We talked about this yesterday, Jeff, was not as much the price tag of investing money in the individual, but it's investing money into the positions. And the hypothetical of having to pay him and Harper and Castle, what I guess, if just doing kind of the math of what it would be, was it would probably be like $450 million guaranteed. That is a legitimate, if you want to be someone and have a level of skepticism about this thing, about this deal, I think that's the main degree of skepticism that you have. I don't think a lot of people are doubting whether or not he's a max money guy. He's getting market value, but I think it is a legitimate conversation though to invest so much money into essentially two positions, and you of course going to have to pay Victor a generational contract in some capacity. Not this next one, the one after that. It's what it's going to be. The conversation presents itself a little bit of putting too much money into those two guard spots, or the two spots, I should say. I think that's fair. Right now, I'm not overly concerned by it because I've always been the belief when it comes to Victor, you throw normalcy out the window, including the positionless basketball. You expand that even further. You put the four best guys around him possible. And if it means you have three guards, knock yourself out. But for the more the traditionalist, it's fair. It's fair. It's fair to have that concern, to put all that money there.
Yeah. With going into some of the numbers, I know there's a lot of number geeks out there. The Spurs projected salary is about 140 million. This is via Bobby Marks. And the salary cap is at 165.4. Marks notes that the Spurs are over the cap because of the Sohan free agency hold. So right now the Spurs have gone over the cap with this deal, which, I think that for the Spurs, they have to start thinking, maybe not this year, but quickly apron. That you say that word to management, team,
the A word,
and they freeze up. Don't believe us? Ask Boston, ask Denver. It's already on their mind. Well, it's been on Boston's mind. They ready to say we're out, we're done. Right. So although the Spurs are not close to even the first apron, but it's going to get there fairly soon. More of that in a bit. My thing is that, and I talked about it in the first segment, this is Luka Doncic money. This is big, big money here. And you compare the resumes, Fox is a one-time All-Star.
Right.
Doncic is a multi-All-Star. Luka's led Mavericks to the finals. Fox hasn't led any team that deep in the postseason.
Right.
That's a lot of cash for. And again, I'm not trying to throw water on the parade and say this is a bad deal. No, I'm glad the Spurs did it. 100% on board with this. I'm glad they locked up. Now they have 2 all-star pieces to build around. Mm-hmm. But that's where I was a little stunned that it was at max. I really thought it was to be like just shy of a near max again to prove it, and maybe have, as you mentioned in the last show, have a team option or a player option, just an option where they can get in. Then he gets the difference, basically.
Right.
But then again, you mentioned market value. This is what, and then you go outside of Luka. This is what the money that other high quality NBA guards are getting. Tyrese Halliburton got paid. Brunson, your guy, New York, got paid. Now Fox, and then of course Luka over the weekend. So, part of me says it's a lot of money for a guy, that can score. You play some defense, but what has it really done? And again, I'm just here trying to play devil's advocate here. What are your thoughts?
It's pay for what you get. It's pay for what you get, and I don't as much look at the Luka side of it as Fox getting Luka money as opposed to.
Now, I'm just saying Luka just because it just happened over the weekend.
No, but it's fair though. It's more in my mind. It's more Luka being underpaid and getting Fox money, because I think Fox. This contract is just about market value for what you're going to get for an all-star, 27-year-old all-star caliber point guard. You're going to have to pay. It's going to cost a lot of money. Yeah. I think the Luka side of it, I think Luka is underpaid. So I think it's Luka getting Fox money, but then we kind of wait until that contract expires for Doncic, and then the next one he's going to be in line with is only going to be that much more valuable on top of that as well.
Yeah. Cody's first fan. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. Go ahead and finish your thought. Mine's kind of upbeat bat.
I'm not wrapped up by the numbers.
Okay.
For me, I'm not. I thought it was going to be that projected third of the salary cap that it take close to. I think 30% of the cap is what it takes. I'm not concerned because the first year of that deal, you're still going to have Victor on a rookie contract, which is $16 million. So that's 1 year. That's 1 year out of 4. You don't have to worry about anyways. I'm not overly concerned about the dollar sign. I'm not.
Yeah. And in yesterday's show, when you and I did, I even put it out there. I said, ultimately, I think the Spurs are going to give him the max and then let the chips fall where they may. And I think that's what they're going about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we'll see what they do. But you're right, though. You're paying Fox franchise money right now, but your franchise player you're going to have for under franchise money for the next 2 years, right? So, and you have Castle, who will probably looking to get a payday for 3 years. And you have Harper, and hopefully he pans out. We'll see. But if he does pan out, for 3 years or 4 years.
Right. Well, for Harper, it would be right.
Yeah.
Exactly. For Harper, for Castle, it would be
Yeah.
2 years into that of the Fox contract.
Right.
And then Harper, it would be 3 years into the Fox contract. Yeah.
And Wemby is 2. So
right.
That tells me too, Spurs got to win something soon. They got to win something soon before it gets expensive.
Right. And honestly, I think the parallel that you make with this is you see a lot in football when a team has a young quarterback on a very team-friendly contract those first couple years. You saw it last year. It didn't work out particularly as well, but with C.J. Stroud on a rookie deal off a great rookie season, Texans loaded up some money in there. The one that really worked out is Joe Burrow, just a couple years into his rookie contract.
Yeah.
The Bengals loaded up. And this is kind of basketball's version of that, because very rarely do you see rookie scale players impactful at this level being able to be built around with stars so immediately that you can afford to do that, and you have that luxury of doing that. And that's something that the Spurs are doing. And beyond that, they don't. You think about some of the guys that are going to be off the books this time next year, like Keldon's 2 years, but Harrison Barnes off the books. I have it here. Kelly Olynyk's going to be off. Right. Kelly Olynyk's off the books. And so by the time you hit year 2 of that extension, you have, let's see, at minimum, you have Fox, Vassell, presumably Harper, Cornell, Carter Bryant, Castle, and of course Victor. So what's that? 6 guys?
Yeah.
Did I say 6 guys? Whatever number it is, those are the only guys that are under contract in 2 years when you're hitting a $55 million mark.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Hey, Spurs fans, ticket price is probably going to go up a little higher. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. They're probably going to get a little bit more expensive.
Somewhere to pay him $229 million.
Exactly. When we get back, we're going to continue our chat about Fox, Spurs, the extension, so much more, and give our final grade. What are the Spurs? Do you got an A+ or a big F when it comes to giving Fox the contract? Hey, but first I want to talk to you about Monarch Money. You ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can be. Whether you're growing your savings, planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, spending in one spot. In addition to managing your money, you'll also be building some wealth there. Hey, look, there's so many things that the Monarch Money app and monarchmoney.com can do for you. What if you're just wanting to know where you're spending your money? Maybe it's takeout subscriptions. They'll help you with that. What if there's a financial goal you want to get serious about? Monarch Money will help you with that. What if you share accounts with somebody? Y'all want to get on the same page? Monarch Money is there for you. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's Monarch Money. Code is LOCKEDONNBA. That'll get you half off your first year. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Casey Viera. He's on X at Casey_Viera. Follow me on X as well at Jeff G Spurs Zone. And looking at it again, I'm looking at this money though, man. That's a lot of cash. You and I would never see that kind of money in our lifetime. That's generational money, man.
A little late in the day.
I might have to have a talk with my genetic code. Like, what's up, guys? You just couldn't give me that little extra push.
Nah.
Be 7'4".
Nah.
Still hard, man. No. That's a lot of money, though. But
they invested all of it into your forearms.
Yeah. They go, we thought you wanted to be a big guy, not a tall guy. Yeah. Well, we're talking about Jeff. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Or I think I had like one of my coaches at high school. He said like, because you got the build for a boxer. I was like, man, maybe I should have followed his thoughts there. But
the show would be real fun.
Yeah, CTE probably impacting you right now.
No CTE is the last thing it needs.
Right. Hey, we're talking about De'Aaron Fox, Spurs contract extension, the max contract extension for number 4 in San Antonio. Overall, I think we're saying it's a great deal. They got it done. Got it done quickly. They didn't let it linger. It's a commitment to winning. It's a commitment of Fox. It's a commitment to the rebuild. is a commitment to winning ASAP because we got something looming ahead, and that is, we talked about it in the last segment. Now we're going to really put it under the microscope. That is, a lot of money is going to have to be paid. Next, in a couple of seasons, Casey, the Spurs could be looking at 2 max contracts on their roster, Wemby and Fox.
Right.
Which begs the question, should they have given him the max deal, knowing that there's going to be some guys that are going to have to get paid, and if they're not going to get paid, they may be gone. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they had to do it. They had to do it. They had to keep him. And you talked about a little bit of an understanding that they might have had when the trade happened back in February. I would not be surprised if that wasn't already the case, if this wasn't already in the works for a little while. And even if it wasn't the max, I mean, it was going to be somewhere in this 220 plus ballpark. I think this has been on the Spurs horizon for a little while, to find, build efficiently with your draft capital, which they've done. And then when it presents itself, get an all-star to put next to Victor. And they've checked both of those boxes at that point guard position. How long we thought it was going to be Trae Young this time last year. It ended up being Fox. And they did exactly what they were aiming to do, presumably, on that front, to get the all-star, to get that max caliber, max money player, at least next to Victor. I think we were talking about giving it a grade. I'm not like blown away by, I guess, because I don't think I would have been blown away if he didn't sign for the max, perhaps. I'm not even entirely sure the way to phrase it. I don't want to say I'm not overly impressed, because it felt like this was just the way it was going. And it felt like this was just kind of the norm and the formality. And like, you had the confidence that they were going to get it done in some capacity, admittedly. And I said this, on yesterday's episode, I was at the time a little bit, and I might be guilty, because I was kind of talking myself into that 3-year option thing. And I felt like that could have only been the hiccup. That would have been the only hiccup. But I think that the 4-year part of this is ultimately what made the difference here in Fox, and signing off for the trade all the way, right, however many months, 6 months back. I think that 4th year is what it was. I think he wanted to be here those 4 years. I don't think he wanted the 2 plus the player option on the 3, because I think that probably was on the table. Because if they're putting 4 on, the opportunity to get more money is at least from his agency, is being that ball is being served back to Spurs management. The thought of that, and they reached the I don't even, do you even call 229 a middle ground? I don't even know. It's a win either way. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a win either way for De'Aaron Fox on that front. But the Spurs did what they needed to do, and I give it an A.
I'm right there with you.
Just doing your job,
Yeah, I'm right there with you. You took care of your all-star guard. He's locked up. You now have 2 amazing building blocks to possibly get the Spurs out of the rebuild as soon as next season. And at this rate, I think they are going to get out of the rebuild as soon as next season. I think they do make a postseason breakthrough, whether that's a play-in or a playoff. Either way, they're going to, winning. They got to start winning. As I mentioned earlier, they have to start winning now, because this team may look a lot different in the next 3 to 4 years. And maybe some players will not be here anymore.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. So if they want to win with this core, they got to win now. So, and they're going to do that. And another thing, too, I don't think we hit on it, and I'll get your thoughts on this. I was looking at the, during the break, how it ascends and he gets paid more in the back end. That's not a bad trading chip if it's not.
Well, you know what?
If this Harper, Castle, Fox thing isn't working out,
right? Well, I think had they not gotten it done by the 6th, then they would not have been able to trade him, if I'm not mistaken, this year, or until February. I believe they would not have been able to trade him at the deadline if they had signed the extension after that. Do I think there's a world where they would move him? No, I don't, because I don't think there's anything out there right now, even down the road, that would warrant doing something as dramatic as that. You never know. What
if Giannis? What if Antetokounmpo pops up again?
I think Giannis is going to be an off-season thing, though.
Okay.
I don't think Giannis will act out. Yeah, let me rephrase that. I don't think anything's going to pop up down the road mid-season. That's me, though.
Yeah.
I don't think Giannis. I don't think Giannis. The Giannis thing is out the woods yet, though. And no pun intended. Not at the woods yet. I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's gonna. It would be a mid-season thing.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I do like that aspect of it. Is it is we're having right here 63 million or 59 and 29 and 63 and 29 30.
Right.
That's a big chunk of money that you can match salaries.
Right.
Maybe a proven commodity in the NBA. And there's have to be honest, could be somebody else, but you got some money now if you want to. If this 3-guard lineup doesn't work out,
right?
I think it will, but if it doesn't, do you want to invest in a guy at that point? Is maybe it's still in his prime, and he probably will be, or rising stars like Harper and Castle that may not command that kind of money.
Right.
So that we'll see. That's a side note. We'll see how that works. But overall, yeah.
Those last 2 years of that deal, the 59 and then the 63. If there's some sort of rut here along the way where the dynamic of the three of them doesn't work, or the Fox Wemby thing in a larger sample size is just not happening for whatever reason, or they just favor it, whatever the reason may be. The 59 and 63 numbers in the back two for a point guard who's going to be 31, 32 years old at the time. Again, going back to the skepticism, so to speak, that could be a conversation if things aren't working. That could probably hamstring you. The good thing is that the Spurs don't have a ton on the books outside of that right now.
Yeah.
But that year 3, year 4 of the deal, that much money, it could hamstring you. I'm more of the belief that it will. Like I said before at the start, I'm of the belief that it will not. Not saying that you're looking at a true generational point guard at this spot, or no, I'm not. The Spurs did what they had to do, and they did the right thing. But we have to be honest with ourselves here. If it bombs, which you never know, the back 2 years of that deal are not ideal. They're not. They're not. But I don't think it is going to bomb to the point that it is going to hamstring.
I don't think so.
Championship. I don't know. I'm not going to guarantee that, but I don't think they're going to get handcuffed by it.
No, I'm with you either. It's just a luxury to know that if you want to ship him out and you want to command, a player close to his caliber that's in that realm, and you have somebody to match contracts,
right.
So you got that option there, but I do believe this 3-guard lineup will work. The only other wrinkle I can see this, maybe it's for another show, is if Harper just really comes on. I mean, if he is just this, holy smokes, like this guy's good. Why does he come out off the bench?
Right. Yeah. And that's right. Exactly. And that's why I had a level of, going back to yesterday's episode, a level of skepticism, because if Castle or Harper really take an incremental boom between this year and next year, you're going to want to maximize your assets the best way that they can. So you would think at that point, if they're all just kind of caught in that log jam, the three of them for 2 spots, and it doesn't work with the 3 on the floor at the same time, you'll have to move one of them at their peak, at least in Fox's case, or on the rise, which in the latter 2, Castle and Harper's and Castle's case. And if it means that you bring a little bit more traditional balance to the roster, you do it, you explore it if it gets to that point. Because again, as we've talked about all the time with Victor, the only untouchable on this team is Victor. That's it. And I think the point still stands even now.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Yeah, he's still the only one. Yeah.
The points still stand, in my opinion, even now, because
Absolutely.
continue to maximize whatever which way you can. But in the meantime, I don't think there should be any intention to separate the three of Fox, Castle, Harper.
No. Now, will there be some pitfalls? Maybe a little stumbling out of the gates, probably. But I think they'll get it quick. You got a veteran point guard. Yeah, there'll be somewhere. You got a veteran point guard, a Fox. He'll make the adjustments. He'll lean the guys. Harper. He's the rookie of this guy. Obviously, the rookie. So he'll be likely taking lesser minutes. I think it'll work out. It will work out. And let's not forget, outside of Fox, Castle and Harper are really multi-positional. So if we have to switch them somewhere, then they can make it work.
No, I agree. And there's one thing, the magnifying glass is going to be on the Spurs this year, and big time.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And I hope it doesn't get to a point when they hit a rut that and maybe we shouldn't worry about this because this has been far from the case, anything the opposite, but they do something impulsively and they separate it. We've seen this team go through all levels of patience, and then they hit a rut, and the level of concern that comes about whether these three are gonna match, and then they just blow it up. I don't think they'll do it, and I don't want to say blow it up in the sense that you hit a rebuild, but blow it up in the sense that you try to find more of that traditional balance, if you will. I don't think they'll do an impulsive move like that, but for the sake of the conversation, I hope they don't. I mean, give it what it's worth. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I was thinking about that too. Before I hit record for this show, I was like, how do I see the Spurs coming out of the gates next year? I see them coming out hot, just like boom, they're just riding high, emotions high, and I see them in a rut, and then it's everybody's jumping off a cliff. I think I can see that they'll just come out strong, win a great little winning streak. 4 or 5 games in a row, and then maybe start 2-3 games, and then everything. Oh my God, it's not working! Blow it up!
I mean, if they're healthy, there's no reason not to assume that, right?
Yeah.
If they're healthy, I mean, we still it's August 5th, and we still don't know if Victor's going to be ready for opening night.
Exactly.
No, you know what I mean. So again, it's relative.
We shall see.
Right. We shall see.
We shall see. Exactly. All right. Well, there you have it. A little bit more in-depth conversation about Fox, Spurs, contract extension, so much more. We're going to Locked On Spurs with Casey Viera. He is on X at Casey_Viera. Be sure to give him a follow. Let him know your thoughts on his take on the Fox extension and so much more. Casey, man, we appreciate you coming on again, buddy. It had to be you because you were with me pre-contract. It had to be you post-contract.
Yeah.
It had to be. I love how you texted me, though, saying, like, man, we dodged a bullet. We dodged a bullet.
We did. Yeah.
Casey was ready to redo the entire Monday show over the weekend. He was like, I'll text you.
I know that thing. We were just hoping. We were like, oh, this deal. Watch, this deal's going to come out. It's going to get done. The second, and it kind of what happened. Second, Jeff publishes this thing. Yeah, the deal's going to come out. Yeah, it was close.
It was close. We got a good half day. Half day here.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I usually schedule a lot of the promotions of it. I deleted every single one. Actually, it's a delete.
Did you see? I clipped some of it just to tease it on.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did before the announcement.
Yeah, and I paraphrase. I said, yeah, while they'll consider, the two parties should consider going short of the 4 years, and then I counted it. Yeah, I counted for between that and the Shams tweet, there was 19 minutes apart between the two. And so I just went back to the thing I posted. I was like, yeah, never mind. Whatever.
If I did that, I would have deleted it. I said, oops, delete. Oh, how did that happen? Oh, well, darn it.
I had interaction. You retweeted it. I can't delete or retweet. Anything that comes up on Jeff G's timeline. It's good for
well, thank you for that. But it's also another good thing, I gotta wrap it up soon, but I'm glad they took care of it quick. Because if this thing had lingered, let's just say we're having this conversation about it not being signed, we're Friday. I'm like, uh-oh. something's up.
Or even worse.
Something's
Well,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah. Or even worse, like, okay, for our standpoint, absolutely. I think that's another reason the Spurs wanted to get it done too, because I don't think they wanted this conversation to come about during the middle of the season, especially when things are going rough and they're not and the Spurs hit their first 4-game losing streak of the year, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, is Fox gonna want to stay? Even if Fox did, has all intentions of staying and not signing until the offseason,
Sure.
last thing you need is all that negative attention coming about, that skepticism, those hypotheticals coming about, and all of a sudden people getting pressed in post game, and they got that all out of the way now.
Yeah, they did. All right. Well, again, thank you, Casey, taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. I appreciate it. Everybody else does appreciate it as well. And I appreciate y'all, everybody, for coming to Locked On Spurs for your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Again, we're on iTunes, Spotify, Kins 5 Plus, YouTube. Give us a subscription. Keep those subscription numbers going up higher. You guys are the everydayers. I think we'll be back in a couple days. We're in the off-season mode right now here at Locked On Spurs, so about 2 to 3 a week. Maybe I'll give you one to close out the week here at Locked On Spurs. But whatever it is, it will be all about the Silver and Black and what's going on in the offseason and looking ahead to next season. So for Casey Viera, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.